Hey, what's up, guys? This is Carson, and welcome back to another video. As you can see here, I finally am doing a breaking down video on Night of Darkness. I just exported the stems from the studio because over the last break, I didn't have access to the studio, so I didn't get to make all the videos I wanted to over break, which is why I'm doing it now. And several months. This came out in September. It's been forever, so I apologize for the time of not having something like this out. I'm doing City of the Night next, the Cyberpunk entry song, and I'll know by the end of this month if I ended up winning that. Um, but yeah, I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time because I really want to actually get to this. Um, Full disclosure, I am not entirely sure what's what in this because it's um, I am slightly doing a tiny bit of sorting during this because um, I literally just uploaded these right now, and I'm going through them. Sorry. Yeah, I think this is okay. Sorry, just needed to make sure. I know I should have probably done this before the video started, but um, it's late. I want to do the video before my roommate gets back because otherwise I'll feel awkward about talking about this in front of him. Um, But yeah, this is the project file or the stems, anyways, from the project file and all the different things in this. And let's start this off. So the idea for this song was to make my own version of a Batman theme, and try and listen to other soundtracks like The Dark Knight, the Batman, the original movies, and whatnot, and kind of make my own sound out of that, but also keeping it the same. So it's me imagining what writing a Batman theme would be like if I were to write one. And so this piece is fairly short, but there are several ideas in it that you could pull apart to make an actual soundtrack. And there are bits and pieces hidden from other Batman themes in this just for fun. But this beginning part, kind of here, this whole part that just played before the build, that's kind of more emotional, kind of pretty, not necessarily pretty, but more emotional. So if this whole piece were to be broken apart and to make different themes for a Batman movie, that beginning part in my mind would be like the emotional theme of said fake Batman movie that I'm scoring. So this piano and the strings and everything, it's very emotional. And so for the more emotional scenes of, again, fake movie, this would be the kind of emotional theme that would play. And so you could expand on this idea more if you wanted, but that's kind of my thinking with this beginning part and everything like that. And then the beginning is just piano. I have some strings that come in. And then I have a fake trumpet that comes out on top of that. So they all kind of build off of each other. And that little bit could be pulled apart and made into a larger theme as well. But that's kind of like the big, almost Danny Elfman cathedral kind of massive, kind of almost evil feeling that I'm trying to go for. So kind of the more Um, I don't really know how to describe, kind of more gothic, I guess, if that makes any sense. But kind of building on the scale of Gotham, um, and so it's, if that makes any sense, it's kind of the scale of Gotham, and it's a more darker little motif as compared to the ending. The ending is also darker, but it's not necessarily a theme. But this is a little motif that could be used as a darker little theme for kind of the is the word grandiose scale of Gotham and everything with the like the cathedrals and everything. And so I hope that makes sense. And I'm not just rambling, but yeah, there's a role that builds into that. I did record some live players, and I combined the live players with the not the fake, because it's not fake, it's sample libraries, but combining the two here. Um, so this is the horn part, and actually the horn part does dun 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 dun. But that's just the Danny Elfman theme, but it's not at the same time, because the Danny Elfman is dun 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 dun. Those of you who've seen Batman, you know what I'm talking about. My voice is bad. But yeah, that's what this is, and so this is the fake horn, and then as it plays, I'll put on the real horns, um, so you can hear how it kind of opens it up, and it makes it sound better. And then whenever you play it, I have turned them down a tiny bit just because for whatever reason they're louder. So it is quieter, but it's because it is helping the fake things sound better. So it's not overtaking, but it's also not just not even there. It's very subtly helping. Which, since this is a piece that I wrote and I wrote it to the sample libraries, um, it's not obviously like the player's fault. It's just sometimes, since it is written for that, it just sounds better with the fake stuff, or not fake, sample. But recording live players like this helps make it sound more full, even if it is a subtle difference. I'd like to do another piece where it is written for these actual players, but for the purpose of this piece and everything, it wasn't. But um, yeah, just it's a very subtle difference, but it makes it feel better. So there's some real trumpet, there's some real trombone, there's some real horn. Um, so I have all this layered on top of each other with the sample library stuff, and with all of it together, it sounds pretty good. Let me try and just solo all the kind of brass instruments. Um, Fake trombone. I believe that's all the. And the real players really helped with the crescendo at the ending, because you can't necessarily do that as well on software, so they really helped with that. And the fake, or not fake trombone, but the trombone and strings here actually play the two notes in the Dark Knight theme as backing notes. You can't really tell, but if you've heard the Dark Knight theme, you'll know these two notes if you actually like actively listen to the Dark Knight soundtrack. But this is actually the Dark Knight theme. It's just hidden behind everything, and it's the bass supporting part. So it's really helping hold down the low end, but you can't tell that it's the two notes from the Dark Knight until I probably tell you, because there's so much going on top of it. It's not like you are listening for the bass part necessarily. So there's the dun dun, and then there's also a little bit of percussion here. But they're mostly like these hits. Those hits are kind of reminiscent of the Danny Elfman stuff because he likes to have those kind of hits, and so that's why they're there. Um, and then some more strings come in. Some more strings come in here to make it feel more full. And so that ending part is just supposed to be like a constant ramping up, and it's supposed to sound a little psychotic because it's Batman and Arkham Asylum and all that. And so it's supposed to sound a little psychotic in a way, and it's supposed to kind of slowly build up. Kind of a little bit inspiration from the new Batman score for this, because of the two notes that it does, dun 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 dun, and it slowly builds up. Because it goes dun 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 dun, and it slows but also builds. So that's kind of the idea with this, but it's a different theme. And there's a bunch of different strings going on. There's some bass stuff. This is just kind of a drone to help with the low stuff. I like my synth and sound design, as most of you know, so there is some synth stuff in this. It does the same thing over and over, but it sounds really cool. And when you combine that with the other bass, some really cool sounds. And then there's the percussion stuff still. There's a harp that comes in, as you probably heard. That's just because whenever I think of Batman, sometimes I imagine harps in a weird way. Don't know really how to describe that, but there's a harp. I think harps fit Batman. I don't know why or how. I guess because rich people own harps. I don't know how weird that sounds, but I guess most rich people own harps. At least that's like a stereotype. So Batman's rich. I mean, that's not like my full thinking for why I'm using a harp. I'm using it because it sounds cool. But if I were to give you a reason as to why there's a harp in it, and to make it fit the context of Batman, that would be my reason, I guess. But yeah, and then the piano kind of dies off. The strings start coming in, and the strings have a weird delay, which helps the kind of psychotic feeling I'm talking about. Especially on this string, it kind of sounds detuned, or like it's not on pitch exactly, but there's a delay as well that makes it sound better. Yeah, so kind of like a psychotic kind of feeling, almost like Psycho as well, honestly. And then there's a little bell thing that comes in. It's kind of like a creepy evil bell. I could see that being turned into a big villain theme. If I were to expand upon that, it could be turned into a villain theme, along with some of the elements of this stuff, but definitely could be turned into a villain theme. So, yeah. So yeah, I hope that makes sense with the kind of breaking it apart. Like, there's different motifs all in this one piece that could be broken apart to make and be expanded upon. for if again this was an actual movie I was scoring, which I'm not. Obviously, I'm not actually scoring a Batman movie, but if I were, there's so many different motifs in this like 2 almost 3 minute piece that you could break apart and expand upon. Like I said, there's the emotional stuff, there's the kind of psychotic stuff, there's a little bit of the evil stuff with the bells, there's the dark Batman stuff here. So yeah, there's just so many things that can be broken apart if this was to be like a theme for a Batman movie. And there's all these other little themes in here that can be expanded upon for the movie. So yeah, and then there's some other stuff that comes in. There's some horns that build up. There are drums that build. And then there's a string here. You can't really tell, but there is one here. And that's helping a lot too. And then obviously it slows down, and so everything slows down and gets stretched out, and then there's a roll at the end. And then it kind of just falls off and filters off and it ends. So yeah, that's really it for this one. Finally got around to doing this, and I'm happy that I did, because this song took quite a while to finish, and I am pretty proud of it. It's pretty cool. I'm glad I got to finally do a piece that's not mostly electronics, which is it's nice. It's nice to try and do stuff like this, and have real people helping you out. It was also it was like the biggest first recording session I've had with instrument players that weren't doing weird vocal chanting for a horror game soundtrack or something. So that was also a good experience. So yeah, that's really it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I will be doing more of these now that I'm back and I can actually get the project files, the finished project files from the studio. And so, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a good day.